Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I am really excited to dig down into today's episode. Hello, Poddies. Happy January the 13th. Oh, that's exciting. It's very exciting because we're finally out of the whole new year, new start thing. I don't know about you, but my newsfeed is always full of people who set these great goals, to be fair, but then they spend a whole bunch of time talking about planning them and doing them. And then I get to the end of the year and I never get an end of year review. So I never know whether they actually did them or not. So if you are somebody who has gone and bombarded your newsfeed this year with all the cool stuff that you're going to do, please make sure that at the end of the year, you just, give us a little update. Some of us are nosy. We like to know. In other news, I'm still sounding a little bit like Denzel Washington. I am not sure when that is going to stop. So, make the most of it. At the moment, I feel a little bit like that Friends episode, where Phoebe sings Smelly Cat in her husky voice because she gets the flu. She kisses Gunther because she wants it back. And she sounds really sexy. Except I tried to sing earlier and I do not sound sexy. I sound like some kind of dying cattle. So it's actually not top notch at the moment, if I'm honest. But powering through today, going to try not to cough on the episode, and just want to say a quick New Year's thank you to those of you who have been leaving reviews over the Christmas period. I know that you've probably been very busy putting puzzles together and designing obnoxiously difficult kids' toys, but thank you to Holly Dunn Nutrition, who wrote us a lovely review, 5 stars, saying my favorite podcast in capitals, which I liked. Thank you. If I only had one podcast, this is it. A beautiful balance of constructive, effective business tips and tricks, mindset and motivational insights, real and realistic, no star approaches, good humor and fun. Can't wait for the 2020 episodes. Well, thank you, Holly, because I can't wait either. I'm very, very excited about the whole thing. So today's episode is exciting. I'm going to be talking about what you should avoid doing in 2020 so that you can make more money than ever and have a great time. It's prefaced by the fact that I spent a lot of last year being a little bit like, feels like people are making the same mistakes and just repeating them. And I had a history teacher when I was about, 13. Mr. Butterworth, his name was. If he is listening to the podcast, he was great. I really liked him. He was also a massive fan of the Bolton Wanderers, and they are now like the only football team that I can name on command, even though I don't think they're in the Premiership. But anyway, he was a great history teacher, and he used to have this quote on his wall that I loved. And the quote was, "History repeats itself because nobody listens." I have no idea who said it, but it was on his wall on a bit of A4 piece of paper. And I remember being very, very inspired by this and determined that if I was going to make mistakes, I was going to learn from them and then, actually do things differently. Now, I'm a human, so I'm massively, massively fallible. And that means that often I make mistakes a couple of times before I decide that I'm going to actually change it up and get it right. But last year seemed to be the year that people were making these mistakes and quite happy to continue making the same mistake repeatedly, even though things weren't making them happy, they weren't necessarily making them any profit, they were, taking up a lot of time and energy on things that just weren't fun or joy-filled activities. And I'm guilty of it too. I have to say, 2019 was an absolute crap show. So personally, not professionally. Let's just leave it there, right? But I kept repeating these mistakes and, people would overstep my boundaries or people would do certain things and I'd be like, oh, that's okay. I'll just let that happen again. No worries. And then it would continue happening and I'd be so frustrated about it. And then at the end of the year, I said to a good friend of mine, I was like, do you know what? I'm so annoyed at myself because these things have just been happening. And I have been training people that it's okay. It's okay to just cancel plans last minute when I've driven 3 hours to be there. No worries. That's good. It's okay to, give me honest truths that I A, haven't asked for, and B, are actually just veiled ways of telling me offensive things about myself. My friends are great. I'm joking. No, but seriously, we all have it. We all have these moments where we get so frustrated by these things, but we don't actually do anything differently. So I decided, here's my master plan of the year. I would do an evil laugh, but the cackling does not work with the Denzel voice. My master plan for this year is to give things up and to train people into behaving better. And that's my thing. So this year I am giving up getting really frustrated at people for behaving in ways that I teach them is appropriate. Ooh, juicy, right? If I was a mindset expert, we'd just dive on into this, but I'm not going to. I'll leave that to the pros. But it got me to thinking that actually there are lots of things and lots of decisions, and we can call them learning experiences if that makes you feel better, or mistakes, or whatever word you want to use, that I see people making all the time, that I'd really like you to give up for 2020, because it will help you make more money, it will ultimately make you more profitable, and it will just inject your business with some positivity and profitability, which I think is always a good thing when you start the new year, particularly with all the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment. So let's dive in to the 5 things that I really want you to make a concerted effort to give up this year, that I promise you that if you do give them up, they will actually help you become more productive, more profitable, and you will have a lot more joy in your year as well. So the first thing is getting involved in drama. Oh my goodness, 2019, was it not the year where you felt like you'd gone back to school every time you opened your newsfeed? I definitely felt that way at points. I don't get involved in drama. I'm one of those people that I think I'm too lazy, maybe. I just don't care. And what I saw last year was a lot of drama. People would have these awful experiences, which, by the way, not undermining anyone's experiences. If you had a terrible coaching experience, if you had someone steal your stuff, if you had somebody say nasty things about you online, like, you absolutely are validated in feeling crappy about those experiences. However, the major problem I saw last year was not that people, weren't allowed to feel validated about those experiences. It was that there was so much dramatics around them. Every post on the newsfeed was, I don't like it when people do this, or passive aggressive posts about people adding you to their Facebook groups and doing all of the things that are inherently incredibly irritating and wrong. We all know it, but seriously, do we have to see another post about it? And also, does that post, just posting like negative content or passive aggressive content, does it actually make you somebody that people want to work with? No, it doesn't, so let it go. I would also sing that, but thankfully, thankfully for the cold, um, you know, I get, and here's the thing, and this is a difficult one for me, because I think we should all be able to be validated in our experiences and share our experiences. And I absolutely agree with both of those things. But the amount of people that I blocked and unfollowed last year without feeling like I had to tell the entire world that I'd done it was quite a large amount. And I don't get involved in the kind of clicky, oh, let's all be on this person's side, or let's all be on that person's side of stuff. I don't necessarily have to do that publicly. I don't wade into public conversations and comment on things, because it does 2 things. One, it sucks up a lot of time and energy for me, and I don't really want to spend that time and energy on things that ultimately are not moving my business forward, or not making me a better person, or helping me achieve what my goals are for the year. But the other thing is, I can be way more supportive behind the scenes without ever having to write in somebody else's Facebook post, oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened. So what? You're literally just sat there with popcorn. Like, I don't know what a better way to say it is without sounding quite offensive, but if you are literally involved in every single negative discussion, passive aggressive, commenting or posting online, it's really damaging to your brand, like really damaging, because you then become this person that people assume, oh, well, every time there's drama, Jess is just sat there with her popcorn, posting away, posting her gifts and you know, posting her passive aggressive crap out there. And they don't want to buy from that. You know, think about it. If you look at people and they're always there in the thick of it and everything is negative, or they're always posting, oh my God, I can't believe that another 50 people added me to their group. Like, it's going to happen. You know, it would be like me working in corporate and being like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Another 100 people sent me emails today. How dare they? Like, how dare they do that? It's annoying, but it happens. Get over it, right? Instead, this year, spend your energy avoiding drama. You know, if something bad happens to one of your besties behind the scenes or happens to you, like, absolutely get support. It doesn't necessarily need to be public. It can absolutely be behind the scenes. I've done loads of things for clients over the last 12 months when they've had copy ripped off, or when they've been treated badly by coaches or joint venture partners. There have absolutely been times I've stepped in and, you know, waded in with my size fives, but it's all behind the scenes. It's not public. It's not damaging my brand. And it's, more importantly, not taking time and energy getting involved in stuff that, frankly, I have no business being involved in. So this year, avoid the drama. Make your life a nicer place to be. Hit the block button, hit the mute button, get rid of all the dramatics in your feed, and use that time and energy to focus on stuff that you actually are interested in and that can help you, that can benefit you. Be selfish. Like, that's how I see this. I'm like, this is me prioritizing my self-care. I don't watch the news because I don't like seeing all the negative crap out there. Why would I want to be exposed to it in my newsfeed as well, right? Take it, own it, be selfish, spare your mind from dramatics. The second thing is saying that you're going to do something and then not doing that thing. Now, this is always funny. I talk about this with my biz besties quite a lot. I'm like, it always sounds quite offensive when you say to people, you know, you've said you're going to do this thing, but you're not doing it. Like, when are you actually going to do that? People get quite upset about that. You know, if you're not paying somebody to coach you and keep you accountable, then having your friends do it can be a little bit of a jarring experience. My friends are all nodding at this moment. They're like, Jess, this is a bad trait that you have. But it's so frustrating to see talented people say that they're going to go ahead and do something. They're going to launch something new. They're going to go and get out those 5 clients. They're going to sell that premium program, whatever, and then just not do it. And the thing is, they don't even not do it. It's like, you just kind of see them post around the internet. They're like, oh, well, you know, maybe I can do it when I feel a bit better about this. Maybe I can do it when I've got my branding sorted. Maybe I can do it when my website looks different. Maybe this, maybe that. Da, 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 da. And then by the end of the year, you're just like, but you're so talented and you're so bright and you could have delivered epic things. And instead, next year, you have the same goal. It drives me crazy. And I do it too, okay? I don't necessarily do it with business. In fact, somebody last year said that my approach to business was very masculine. And I really appreciated that, because the way I see it, it's direct and it's assertive, and in some cases comes with an absolutely disgusting sense of humor. But it works for me. And that's the thing. I don't know that we're necessarily setting everybody up for success online anymore by telling people to constantly dream bigger. Because what's happening is that a lot of people are setting themselves these huge goals. They're not going for like, oh, I just want 5 clients, or I'm going to sell 1 spot on a premium program. They're like, oh, I've never sold anything before, and in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to make $1 million. That's not fair, right? It's really not fair. And anybody who's going out there and telling you that your dreams are too small because you want to make 30 grand this year or 50 grand or whatever it is, they have no business telling you that, unless you are paying them and they're saying to you, no, actually, based on your data or based on your pricing, like, you should be able to do a lot more, unless they've actually got facts. But all these people who are sat in the newsfeed being like, oh no, you need to make your goal like 12, 15 grand a month, even though you have no offer yet, even though you've never sold the thing. That's not okay. That's a swizz. Okay, so when you're thinking back on your time in 2019, if there were things that you said you were going to do and you didn't do them, I want you to just ask yourself a couple of questions. When you're setting goals, are these goals realistic? Are there things that, I can actually achieve on there? Or am I actually setting myself up to fail? Am I perhaps dreaming way too big in way too short a time frame? Do I need to actually stagger my goals? One of the exercises that I have put into the C-suite for the amazing people who are participating there, by the way, that group is buzzing. It's ridiculous. They're all taking a ton of action. It's amazing. But one of the exercises that I set for them over the Christmas period was about goal setting. And the way I look at it is you have a good, better, best goal. You don't just set one financial goal. You have stretch targets, and make sure that you have targets that you are capable of hitting, that you are capable of stretching to, that push your sales abilities and push you out of your comfort zone, but that ultimately don't set you up to fail. Okay, so if you're thinking, I've had the same financial goal, or I've had the same visibility goal for the last 5 years and it just hasn't happened, reassess the goal. And if you're somebody who's like, oh, I say I'm going to do things a lot and then I end up procrastinating, or something just happens and gets in the way and I end up doing completely different things, and this year just think about why that is. Is it that you procrastinate because that's your natural form of being? I am that person. I love to procrastinate. I can find literally anything better to do with my time than actual tasks that I'm supposed to do. It could be that you procrastinate because you focus on tasks that are easier or that feel more comfortable for you. And if that's the case, then you need to go out and get some accountability and some support, or outsource so that the tasks become easier. But really think about why you end up in that state. For me, I'll be really honest, I did this in my personal life massively. I would say that I was going to do something and then I wouldn't do it. And the reason why, in all honesty, it was because I was afraid of losing people. I was afraid that if I, stood up and actually did some of the things I said I was going to do, that people would leave. And guess what? I sat back, I did not do those things, and people left anyway. So, let's learn from my mistakes. Do the things that you say you're going to do, or take some real time and think about what you actually want, whether the goals that you're talking about are things you actually want to achieve, or whether they are things that other people have told you need to achieve. Okay. Number 3, let's start embracing sales activities every single day. Like, selling every day is amazing. It's a great feeling. It sets you up for the day if you do it at the beginning. It makes you money. There are so many plus sides to it. But one of the things that I saw people avoiding massively last year was sales in general. And here's the thing, when we avoid selling, we make a lot less money, which isn't helpful. And also, we become so underconfident about sales. A lot of the people who say that they're nervous about selling are people who probably haven't practiced it. They haven't developed a habit. So you kind of build up this anticipatory fear in your mind around actually doing it, because you're not doing it that often, because you're not seeing the habit being committed to, because you're not experiencing the natural ebbs and flows that go with sales. You're not experiencing the highs of, oh my goodness, I made money today. Oh my goodness, people told me no today. You build those things up to be worse than they are. And so you end up not taking action, and then it's not consistent action, and then it's not enough action to hit the financial goals that you're setting yourself. So this year, can we just say no to being inconsistent with sales? If you need ideas on how you can sell every day without feeling sleazy or gross, I've got episodes on the podcast. You can literally scroll back through your feed. I think there is one called How to Sell Every Day. I did a great episode. I say that with all humble, whatever, pie. I did a great episode with one of my clients, Emma Langton, who is an incredible consultant for corporates. She specializes in helping corporates reduce stress in the workplace and lots of other really cool things. But did this amazing episode with her, I think a year and a half ago now, and it's still so relevant. It's one of our most popular episodes, where she asked and got live coaching on how to sell every day and the kind of sales activities that you should be doing. So if you are stuck with that, go and check out that episode. Even if you've listened to it before, go and get a refresher and check it out, because it was a really, really good one, and it will help you put in place different sales activities that you can do. Number 4, what we're not going to do this year: flog dead horses. That's literally and figuratively, by the way. I don't want to see anyone in fields doing that. It's not okay. So what do I mean by this? Last year and every year, I think I see a lot of people, and I do this, I've done this. People don't say goodbye quick enough. I've just explained how I do that personally, because I'm a wet weed and hang on to hang on to things way longer than I should. But it's true, right? We all do it. It's a human thing. We get very scared about letting go. And one of the mistakes I see people make often in their business is that they have an idea that isn't working, and they'll continue to try and solve the problem in the same way and expect different results. Again, there is a fantastic quote there around, doing the same activity, or doing the same thing repetitively and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. That is not the exact wording of the quote, but it is by Albert Einstein. And again, it's a very good quote. It does give me a good reminder. It's written on my whiteboard at the moment. We have to embrace change. So if you've been running your business for a long time, for example, and you've been running it, selling to individuals, and it's not making the money you want, and you've tried everything, you've done the super visibility piece, you've built your audience, you've been selling every day with a sales activity, and it's not working, what can we change? Should you be targeting a different ideal client? Should you be doing different sales activities? Should you be adding a corporate revenue stream? Should you be streamlining the visibility activities that you're doing? Perhaps you're everywhere doing everything, but you're not building deep enough relationships to actually sell to people. There are lots of reasons, but decide quickly. Give something 3 months and give it everything. And if it's not working, change it up. One of the things that I changed last year was our use of Instagram. It wasn't enjoyable for me, and I just couldn't be bothered to get the team to spend tons of time on creating content for the platform and promoting the podcast over there and all this kind of thing. And it was the wrong decision. Okay, I gave it 3 months of, we're not going to promote anything on there. Actually, a bit longer than 3 months. I think we gave it 5 months of not promoting anything on there, not doing anything on there. And guess what? The podcast listens went down. We didn't realize how many people actually listen via Instagram, how many people follow me on Instagram and go ahead and listen to podcast episodes. And because they weren't being reminded that new episodes are out, they weren't listening. Duh, Obviously that was a moment for me where I was like, Jess, come on, like be sensible. But now that we know, we can change it. Okay, so don't be afraid to make changes quickly. If something isn't working for you, change it. Do something different. One of the things I've been really proud of with my clients in 2019 is that they have changed things that aren't working fast. And what that's led to is, very agile businesses being run, very lean businesses being run, but also more profitable businesses being run. Once they identify, this isn't making money, or this isn't jiving with my audience, I'm going to change it. They do, they make the change, they're adaptable, and they're making money. Now, what you don't want to do every 5 minutes is change your niche. So if you're somebody who is changing your niche every 5 minutes, or you're changing your headline every 5 minutes, your I help statement, I help X group of people, achieve X so that they can whatever. If you're changing that every 5 minutes, people don't know what you do. So again, if you're somebody who is perhaps too agile and you're changing all of the time, and you're not actually giving yourself 3 months of solid activity or solid commitment to a niche or selling or getting out there and being visible, then guess what? You're not going to be making the sales that you want either. So you've got to define which camp you're in here. I'm in the camp of, I hold on to things a little bit too long because I'm like, oh God, but what if it suddenly starts working? Yeah, it won't. Learn from Jess. So this year, can we just make sure that we know what camp we're in, whether it's the hold on too long or changing every 5 minutes and nobody knows what we do anymore, and just make sure that we are setting ourselves up for success, changing things that aren't working, but also making sure that we are committing to actual plans and seeing them through to their fullest ability. And then my final one, number 5, what we're not going to do in 2020. Copy someone else and what they're doing because we think it will make them more money. The amount of people that I saw in 2019, and do you know what, it's heartbreaking. Not because I care particularly about how many people are selling whatever in the market, but it was heartbreaking that there are so many smart people out there. And I see this most often with health coaches. So I'm sorry, you guys, if you're a health coach and you're listening, it seems to happen most in your group. Get these amazing health coaches. They're really good. They might specialize in areas like, I don't know, fitness for mums, or high performance, or menopause, or well-being, or virtual Pilates or yoga. And they have these great offers, and then they get kind of, I don't know, maybe 3 to 6 months in, and they're like, oh well, it's not working as well as I wanted it to. So do you know what? I'm going to go and be a business coach, because I see loads of business coaches out there and they all look like they're doing really well. No, they're not. That's the first thing to mention, is a lot of them are good marketers, but not necessarily making tons of money. And the other thing is, if you're really passionate about something, why give it up? Why focus on, oh, well, I don't think this is working, so I'm going to go and sell something else that I may not be qualified to sell or may not actually be that interested in. Money can be made in any industry, literally anything. I've seen people make money from things I did not even know existed. And yet here's all these amazing, talented, qualified people giving up perfectly good businesses that they probably haven't actually embrace the correct strategy for yet, or even set the correct strategy, because they're learning from other baby business coaches who have no idea what's going on or why things aren't working. Side note, if you are seeing a bunch of people do the same thing, don't do it. You'll become mainstream. I love one of my biz besties, Janet Murray. She's great. She is really anti-templates, and in my business I've actually sold templates, so I always laugh, but she's really anti-templates, because one of the things about templates is that when everybody starts using them, they all look and sound the same, right? Last year was that year, but in business everyone suddenly became the same business coach again, but only, it wasn't 2016, so it wasn't like pastel colors and Eiffel Tower pictures. Last year was the year of the rebels and the boss bitches and the, I don't know what else there was, but there was a load, and they all had the same kind of branding, and they used the same fonts, and they all dropped the F-bomb. And look, I do that too, but I don't think it makes me cool. In fact, my mum tells me a lot that it does not make me cool. Clearly she is not in the know. But can we just maybe take a step back from looking at what we assume is profitable because of who is shouting the loudest online, and look at what we can actually do, what we're qualified for, what we're genuinely passionate about, and make money there? Because you'll be so much more invested, so much more interested, and actually have a really good time. You'll be really excited every day when you get to work with decent clients, and you're working on really cool projects, and you're selling offers that you genuinely care about. And you won't have to fight all of this drama around, oh, XYZ business coach did this and XYZ business coach did that. Just stay out of it. Business coaching is a terrible industry to be in at the moment. It's so saturated, and everyone's doing the same stuff and posting the same content, and it's dull. I would love to be a media coach, or a PR executive, or a health coach specializing in health for dogs. I seriously have many career choices that I need to explore. But it's true, I would love that, because they're so different and fresh and vibrant. So if you have skills that is not oh, yeah, okay, you know, in order to set up a business, you need to get clarity, then create a website, then get a lead magnet, then do this. Do it. Do something different. Be fresh, be innovative, like have fun. And you'll sell a load more. I know it might not seem that way because it does seem like in the online space that everybody has to be a business coach or you fail, but it's not true. It's not true. They're just getting really good at marketing. And the people who shout the loudest are not necessarily the ones who are making the money or being the most successful, right? So go ahead, subvert the industry, turn it on its head, do something different, like stake your thing in the ground. I just realized that I needed to use the word stake twice and I was like, that's not going to flow. But, you know, put your flag in the ground and say, this is what I'm doing this year. I'm giving up, you know, being like everybody else. And I'm going to give up having the same controversial opinions as everybody else that then are not controversial. And I'm going to give up selling things that I think will be profitable, even though I hate them. And instead embrace, like, I'm going to have fun with my business this year. I'm going to sell things that I love. I'm going to make it my mission, you know, to find clients that I actually enjoy working with who want to pay me for the skills that I have. And maybe you're looking in the wrong places at the moment. That's fine. We can find audiences, we can find ideal clients, we can work on your sales strategy. What we can't do is make you passionate about something that you don't love. Okay, so there we go. In 2020, we're going to give up a lot of things together. We're going to give up the whole clicky, drama-y, school-y type feel that's on the newsfeed. We're going to give up saying that we're going to do something and then not doing it. This year is going to be the year of following through. We're going to embrace daily sales activities. Woo-hoo! You can hear the high pitches in my voice just don't work anymore. We're going to embrace change. If it's not working, we're going to say goodbye. We're going to switch it up. We're going to do something a bit different. And then finally, we are going to give up listening to the noise and taking advice from the people who are loudest instead of listening to what we actually want to do, what we actually want to sell, and making money from the things that we're passionate about. If you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you do take 5 minutes out of your day. It doesn't take that long to go onto iTunes and leave a review. And if you are interested in exploring the options of selling to corporates this year, and you should be, make sure that you head over to our new free Facebook community, Selling to Corporates. The link is in the show notes. It's a really good place. And I'm doing a really cool free training series this week that will help you decide if you want to sell to corporates or not. I will see you next Monday for a really cool episode. See you then.